This is about mass shootings. It refers to events that happened about half a year ago, but sadly enough, these things are still going on. There were 8 mass shootings in this country over the weekend. 8. I got this from a news report, not just someone talking, so I have some reason to believe it might be true. The reporter said they were using, as a definition of a mass shooting, at least 4 people wounded or killed. This shocks and astounds me. 8 mass shootings over the weekend. 8. We have been in the midst of an epidemic, a mass illness. But this country, the one I know, the one I live in, is sick in itself. There are many manifestations of this sickness. These mass shootings are 1. Individual instances of gun violence are another. The opioid addictions. 16 million people collecting unemployment benefits, while there are 8 million job openings that can't be filled. The nation that's many trillions of dollars in debt. The people collectively, who knows what that debt total might be. Then there is the wide range of what we call mental health problems. Race relations, poverty, homelessness, children born into no family, gangs supplanting families, crumbling infrastructure, the farce that education has become, the failure of communities, the isolation of the individual. Very, very sick. I'm reminded of the newscaster Walter Cronkite. Krankheit in German means illness, so he was the perfect man for the job. I have since learned that, using the definition of a mass shooting, there have been 110 mass shootings in my immediate area in the past 6 years. In the Wild West, when everyone carried a 6-shooter and a rifle, I don't think there were that many shootings. The most recent local mass shooting involved 4 victims, including a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. The 8-year-old was shot in the head, and he is in a coma now with a bullet in his brain. Police have arrested a 19-year-old suspect using film from a surveillance camera. I just heard an ad on the radio for a company that will help your child if they have learning or thinking differences. Yes, just exactly that. Learning or thinking differences. I say, God bless each child with learning or thinking differences. I'd be proud of that for an epitaph. He had severe learning and thinking differences. The PM's administration has announced that it will begin to focus on domestic terrorism and extremists. That frightens me. They could easily define anyone who does not agree with their policies as an extremist. Someone who has learning or thinking differences, they could be extremists. I recall Mao's Little Red Book had many passages on how to deal with those whose thinking did not coincide in every way with the policies of the state. And the state was always and completely right, sacrosanct. I don't want the American government to be actively out rooting up extremists and those they deem terrorists. And let me tell you, if they deem you a terrorist, your time is up, and so are all of your rights and personal freedoms. All of that goes away, and so do you. That doesn't sound like America to me. I thought America was a place that encouraged differences in learning and thinking. Just heard this on the radio. The broadcast said a reporter asked the president if he could trust Mr. Putin, and the president said yes. The White House quickly issued a clarification stating that when the president said that, he was not responding to any one particular question. So what we're asked to believe is that the PM, hit with a barrage of questions, chose to shout yes to them all. Note also the use of the word clarification and any mention of the word trust when it involves world leaders. All very funny in a very, very dark way. When it comes down to it, as it inevitably does, how many people do you trust? Do I trust Mr. Putin? Are you kidding? Do I trust the PM? Yeah, I trust him to be the PM. In the midst of his abysmal and self-defeating attempt at re-election, the trumpet sounded one sincere and cogent statement when, in the second debate, he said, "Joe, you're the reason I ran." Indeed, the PM is the epitome and acme of politics. He is the swamp. He is our conventional guy. He is in Europe now, meeting world leaders representing this nation as the swamp. Master of the symbolic gesture, the PM signed into law a bill that makes Juneteenth a national holiday, celebrating the end of slavery. He called it the most exciting day of his presidency. And my city is going to unveil a street mural repainted for a couple $100,000 of Black Lives Matter. Meanwhile, another mass shooting. 4 people, 1 dead, all black. This is the new updated slavery. N-worders shooting N-worders. And I'm just another N-worder watching it happen. Happy Juneteenth!